Hey, what's up, Timo? Good morning. It's a quick demo video for you for your KR Dar-Krey or Dark-Ray. I just spelled Dark Cray. So anyway, got this done yesterday, as you know, because I posted it to my Facebook, but wanted to get the actual this demo done this morning for you. Um, I did weather it like you asked me to, so hopefully that is picking up on camera. If not, you did see the close-up pictures that I sent you. Um, these shrouds are steel, so I use real heat to do the heat bluing there. All right. Yeah, so that's what it looks like on the outside. Flips out very nice. And then we will fire this guy up. But you have to have it in the open position like this to get to the chassis. On the emitters, though, first you've got, on both of these, you've got the CC Sabers LEDs in there for your main PCBs, right? So we open it up like this. These pill boxes unscrew. So what you want to do is just come over here one at a time and just unscrew it. It'll fall straight down, just like that. Now, when you get to this point and this comes down, you can take this handle and this upper portion and you want to pull straight out, just like that. And we'll go over these one at a time because it does matter what side goes into what. Because what I noticed on these handles, on this handle here on one side and this handle here on the other side, there's anodizing inside the handles, and the diameter of each is just a little bit different. So I had to finish the chassis to fit in their respective handles, and I had to finish them a little bit differently. So one won't fit in the other side, but the other one will fit in both sides. If you if it, you know, if that makes any sense. Best thing to do that I could suggest is just keep this side with this handle, right? So you would do these steps that we're doing one at a time. All right, so we'll put this down for a minute. We'll go over your chassis. I made these chassis extremely tight fit into these handles. I do that because of the snapping out motion that you'll do, you know, when you get the two sides clamped together and then you just throw it open. I did not want any vibrations happening in the chassis. I wanted everything locked down nice and tight so that it could take a, you know, it could take a beating and it could take that force being thrown on it. So that was my mentality, you know, behind modeling these chassis. So you've got your Proffie board right there. You do have access to your micro USB and your SD card. You'll need a pair of tweezers to take out your SD card and then put it back in. It is a little bit difficult to do, but it's just the nature of this particular saber, right? So it can be done. I've done it, and you can do it too, right? I typically use, I have some longer tweezers. I've got these longer ones that I use to come in here and take the SD card in and out, but it can be done. There's a copy of the config file that I use on both SD cards, although they're both identical. They have stock configuration on them. I just added battle mode and I added the motion controls. Okay, you've got a 24mm Smugglers Outpost speaker here on both sides, and then removable battery setup. So spring side over here for your negative. It's a 2-button setup. So your front switch is going to be your activation, and then your back switch over here, that's going to be your auxiliary. We'll throw a battery in this guy real quick. We hit activation. See your LEDs, auxiliary, and we'll tap this. We'll tap this again to turn it off, and then we'll slap this in the handle, and we'll go over the other side. Now you'll notice when you put this on, this handle has a notch right here. You can see that little notch right there, and that lines up with this notch right here in the threading. Okay, so another reason, you know, that it's a snap fit. It helps line everything up, and it won't come loose on you while you're screwing in this pill box. But you want to come straight on with it. Snap it right on. And now we've got, I put that little notch right there inside the threading, and that's where it needs to be. So from here, we can just bring this pillbox portion up and screw it in. And we'll lock it down. this side's good to go. And we'll do that again over here on the other. They are both set up identically, minus the slight diameter change that had to be accommodated for in the handle. All right, so we got that pillbox unscrewed. Come over here, pull this straight out again. Same exact setup. So you got your removable battery, easy access to your Proffie board or your micro USD and your SD card, micro USB, and a 24mm Smugglers Outpost speaker. So we'll throw a battery in this guy too. We got activation. LEDs firing up there too in your auxiliary. We'll turn that off. Before we put this back in, I'll just explain on this one, and I did it on both of them. There was no place for a chassis retention screw, and I didn't want to use glue. So what I did was I came over 180 degrees from your switches and around this greebly right here, and in between, right here, right in the middle on each of these guys, I drilled and tapped it for an 8/32 set screw, and that is your chassis retention. So the chassis are a tight fit in there, but they are also held in with a little set screw right here on each of these guys. Okay, so we got the battery in this one. We'll come over here and we'll do the same thing. Put it in this handle. It is going to be a tight fit, but it goes in. Motion controls might go off on you. That's okay. Take your time. Put it in straight on. Snap it down in place. Get that little notch right there lined up with your all that threading, so it's nice and good to go, and then we can move this back in and screw this on too. There's a lot involved in getting this guy all set up to turn on, right? But that's okay. So we'll come over here. We'll fold this back up for a second. So you've got motion controls. You could just... I've got these on 2 different sound fonts, so they're lighting up in 2 different ways. And we can go like that. Another thing I did, let's talk about it for a second. On this assembly right here for the locking mechanism when you throw it out into a staff, when it came, you can see that little metal pin right there. That pin just kind of fell out, so what I did is I put it in there and I put a little bit of I put a drop of CA glue on it to keep it in place, so it should stay just fine now. Yeah. All right. Super solid now. Those chassis aren't going anywhere. There's no vibration. We could hit auxiliary over here or over here. Turn it off. Your sound venting comes from this coupler. There are holes in this coupler. You can't see them very well right now, but if I folded it up, you could see those slits in the bottoms of the coupler. And then when you have it out, when you have it in the staff configuration, you've got you know, a slit right here and then another one right over here, and that's your sound venting. So we'll fold this up and put some blades in it. Well, actually, let's keep it folded out so we can get to our blade retention screws. And then we'll show you that the blades work. This is it's always kind of an awkward thing to try to demo a staff because I don't really have the room in here to swing it around very much. But we can at least show you that everything's working like it should. So we'll want to lock these down. That is your blade retention screw, that tiny guy right there, okay? I've got 2 1-inch blades, but they're of different lengths. These sabers are set up for 32-inch blades, but I just don't have 2 32-inch blades laying around, so. But you'll be able to see that they all work from what we're doing right here. So we got these locked down. We'll turn this light off. We can turn this one on first. Whoops, activation. All right, and then come over here and hit this one. And now you got the staff is completely lighting up. So auxiliary over here, auxiliary over here. Twist off, and or we could do motion controls. Turn on at the same time. And then you could turn it on this way as well, right? Everything's working exactly like it should there too. Just like that. So we'll take these blades out. And we're taking the batteries out. And one more. So everything's working. We'll just come back here. I accidentally hit the auxiliary button. We'll come back here and we'll unscrew the pillbox. It'll just slide right down. And then pull this guy straight out. Just like that. Come over here from the positive side of your battery by your speaker. And you can pop it out with your finger just like that. And we'll put this one back in before we do the other side so we don't get confused on what side goes where. I was going to run some sandpaper on the inside of one of these handles that were that had the smaller diameter, but I didn't want to ruin your anodized finish. So I chose to just work around that by finishing the chassis differently. Just like that. Positive side. Pop that out, and then we'll put this back in as well. Now, if you find it too difficult to get to your SD card, you can loosen up these chassis retention screws a little bit, and you can pull it out. Just be very careful. Don't pull it out more than you need to. I would highly suggest leaving the chassis in place, though, and doing it from where they're sit, because I just made such tight tolerances for everything so that it would stay in place. But anyway, that is your KR Ray. Let me know if you got any questions. If not, this will go out in the mail to you Monday morning. All right, thanks, man.